He is definitely the right guy to represent Belmont and the right guy to move us forward in the Missouri Valley Conference. So without further ado, please welcome Evan Brads as our 11th coach in Belmont basketball.
Evan Brads, welcome home. The 11th men's basketball coach in the history of Belmont University. Have you gotten used to that yet, and how does it sound?
Oh, I've definitely not gotten used to it. It sounds awesome. It's a surreal moment being here, sitting here with you today. It's something I'm extremely grateful for.
At this point of your career, were you already thinking head coaching opportunity?
Well, the first thing I thought of was I was very thankful for Coach Alexander. Taking over for Coach Bird is not an easy task by any means. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Casey and what he did for this program and where it is to this day. So the second part of that, Belmont basketball has always had a special place in my heart. This is a dream come true in a lot of ways. I never thought that it would happen this quickly. It did happen very quickly, but again, I'm very thankful for this opportunity.
You were at Duke in the NCAA tournament, which just wrapped up over the weekend. How did that opportunity come about? Because you were a guy who had really kind of established yourself as one of the bright, trusted young minds in NBA basketball, and then John Shire called you a year ago.
Yeah, it was my intro to college basketball. Duke University is a special place. Duke basketball is a special place. And they welcomed me with open arms. The whole staff there at Duke was incredible to me. Like you said, I had never worked in college basketball, so I had no clue what I was getting myself into. So I tried to just throw myself into doing whatever I could. And it was one of the best experiences in my life. Getting to work with those guys every single day, work with the players, it was absolutely incredible.
What was maybe the biggest thing you learned in year one getting back into the new era of college basketball?
It's ever changing. It seems like every day I would open my computer and something else was changing. Sometimes people don't like change, but it's something that really excites me.
Several years working under Brad Stevens in Boston, Will Hardy out in Utah as well. I don't know if you want to talk about each one of them, but what were some of the things you learned from each of those guys that have helped prepare you for this moment?
Oh, it's a long list. Brad gave me my first opportunity to become a coach. I packed my car up and drove to Portland, Maine to work for the G League team and was fortunate enough to join his staff after that year. And, spending all that time around him, it was an unbelievable introduction to the NBA. I could sit here for hours and talk about the lessons I've learned, but his overall preparedness for every game was truly impressive. It's something that I really respected him for. Similar to Coach Bird, as good of a coach as he was, he's a better person. And that's something I respected him. Coach Hardy gave me my first assistant coaching title. He put a lot of trust in me. Moving out to Utah from Boston was an incredible experience for me. Leading our player development program, the opportunity he gave me as a young coach, it's something I'll never forget. His basketball mind is, very forward thinking, not afraid to try new things. It's always something I really respected and looked up to him for.
As you approach this opportunity now, never been a head coach before, what do you think is the biggest thing you've got to grasp about this opportunity?
There's a lot of things that I know that I have to learn. I'll be the first one to tell you. I definitely don't have all the answers. There's a lot of learning to be had. I think just the overall leading the program is something that's going to take it's going to take time to learn day by day. But it's something that I'm confident with the experiences that I've had that I'll pick it up quickly and keep this program moving in the right direction.
Belmont has always been known for the offense, the style of play under both Coach Bird and Casey Alexander. Fans want to know how are you going to play, Evan? What is going to be the style of play for the Bruins moving forward?
Yeah, I like to think that I'm a little bit of all the coaches I've ever worked for or played for. Like you said, Belmont's been known forever for the offensive style of play. But I've been fortunate to work for some really good defensive coaches too. So in my heart, I'm always going to be an offensive guy, but I know that from a defensive standpoint, we need to be physical, we need to be aggressive, and really take that to a whole nother level.
You mentioned the fast-moving nature of this process when you're in the middle of the NCAA tournament and an opportunity like this comes about. What was it like talking with Scott Corley, talking with Dr. Jones about the possibility of coming home and then ultimately getting a deal done?
Yeah, it was surreal to say the least. even the opportunity just to sit down with him, I was so thankful for. Again, I never thought it would happen that fast. But when you sit with those guys, it's easy to see that all three of us were aligned in the passion that we have for Belmont basketball. You listen to Scott talk for 5 minutes and Dr. Jones talk for 2 minutes about their passion for this university, and it's something that really excited me. When we did get the deal done, there were no words. I got the phone call from Scott, and I'm honestly just very blessed to be able to do this. There are really no words that describe it. It's the definition of a dream come true.
When you get back into this opportunity, as you mentioned, college basketball and the landscape is ever changing. What is your plan for this new era and for Belmont?
Yeah, well, with it being ever changing, we're going to try and stay ahead of that as much as possible. I know that there's a lot of things that we can't plan for, but I think we need to adapt with change as it comes, try to stay ahead of it as much as possible. And, we're going to lean into it. The way the world works now, it's not going away anytime soon. If anything, it's going to continue to change in that direction. So for us here at Belmont, I think it's something we're going to really lean into. You
mentioned the success that this program has had now over 4 decades. How much were you able to follow the program day to day, game to game, from afar over the last decade?
So I think I told Scott and Dr. Jones this, my ESPN app, Belmont has been the one constant favorite team on there. So this past season, I got to watch more basketball games than I had in previous years, but I was always a fan.
The last time a lot of Belmont fans saw you was walking off the floor in Atlanta at the end of an NIT run, all-time leading scorer in the Division I era of the program. When you were walking off the floor, could you have imagined the next decade that would lead you back to being a basketball coach here at Belmont?
Oh, absolutely not. I was in the mindset that I was going to play basketball forever, or until my body gave up on me, and it gave up on me pretty quick after that. So this journey that I've been on, it's taken me to places I could have never imagined. I've been around people that I'm extremely fortunate to them for the time and investment they've made in me, and they've all helped me get to where I am today.
What are the first orders of business for you?
Yeah, we're in the process of finalizing our staff. I think the staff that we've built so far is going to be incredible for Belmont basketball. They're going to support not only me, but the student athletes here and the university. And with the transfer portal opening, we're planning for that. When it opens, we're going to hit the ground running and build a competitive roster that, hopefully leads us to a Missouri Valley championship.
You've only been back in town for about 20 hours at this point, but what have the conversations with the guys currently on the roster and prospective recruits been like?
Yeah, when I first got the job, it was just reaching out to the players that were on the team last year. I thought it was really important that they hear from me early. And even if they do not come back, I wanted their last interaction with the Belmont coach to be very positive. And just know that I appreciate everything that they've done for Belmont. And talking with the guys, talking to them about the potential of returning, that's been a lot of the conversations with them so far. It's exciting with the recruits. It's just getting to know them, and reaffirming our commitment to them. I think that's a real thing that I care deeply about. They chose to come to Belmont, and I wanted them to make sure that they knew that spot was still there for them. So it's been a lot of just getting to know people, to be honest with you.
It's very exciting. There's a lot of work to be done. It's also change for a rare time around here at Belmont. So for those fans out there who aren't used to this, frankly, Evan, what is your message to them about what's to come for the Bruins?
Yeah, I believe this deep in my heart that the best days for Belmont basketball are to come. I'm excited to get to work, and it's going to be a really fun journey to go along with this team and this program and this university.
Evan, welcome home. Congratulations.
Thank you.